be free. So you need to contact your respective vendor. So from whomsoever you got the link to join.
Okay.
So it's not going to be free. Even we have to earn our bread and butter.
Oh yeah, correct, correct. Yeah. So, what is the I mean, the course fee and all stuff like?
Okay. So Ganesh, why don't you talk to your respect? So how you got the link?
I got one. See, I'm in US, so I got a link from one of my friend. I don't
Okay.
know his name. I did not. I don't know his name, but I saved in my WhatsApp. So,
Okay, can you go through the channel and find the right, because like we have multiple people join through different channel. I
okay.
cannot really direct you to one channel which will be like a wrong one. So please
Yeah.
find the right place. Find it like how you got it, and please contact the respective person. It will be really good.
Fine. Got it. Yeah.
Thanks.
Daud, I have a question. So,
Yeah, sure.
people who have basic level of experience, like if I say particularly for me, I have some experience to write the scripts, and I'm using some scripts in my production platform.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, uh, uh, which level you are going to cover? So as I have basic level of experience, so is
Mm-hmm.
this training going to help me if I join on this?
Okay. Yes, this training is gonna help you in two things. First thing is like Kaiser saying like you will get more clarity on the script. If I ask you, probably like you said like you are handling these many scripts, right? So if I ask you like, can you explain me what does the hyphen means? If you're up to that level, I'm so happy that you're good. But I'm just going to a very basic level. Say like what is a hyphen, what is a dollar, what is a question mark, and like what is the percentage, all those clarity if you are having, and if you are writing all the scripts by yourself, that is perfect. And also I'll tell you like we will be going to a level that you will be able to automate all the Windows concepts, in the sense like you think about any sort of automation in Windows, that will be possible through this training. After this training, that is the level that we are reaching.
Okay.
Hi, Sheikh. I'm working as a SharePoint administrator, and I'm going to work on PNP, PowerShell, and see some PowerShell and SharePoint as an administrator in coming days. So I have a basic knowledge in PowerShell. So by learning this, will this help? Will this be helpful for me on working on PNP and see some PowerShell and SharePoint?
Okay, yeah. So why I'm saying that, because like you take any domain, PowerShell is there. So we can't be so much comfortable with the GUI. So at some point of time, we have to know scripting. So now SharePoint has its module. Okay, SharePoint has its module, so we need to know how to download that module, how to run a command which says like say like SPO site, new hyphen SPO site. What is
Yeah.
that command does? Okay, so that creates a new site on your SharePoint Online. So we need to understand those things, because like now definitely the world is moving towards automation. Everyone knows that, and we cannot deny it. So we don't want to lag behind, because we don't know scripting. So that's my personal advice. And one thing I want to tell everyone is that, okay, I'm sure everyone is like minimum of or an average of 8 to 10 years of experience, and now only we are thinking about PowerShell. I go to few corporates. They have already added this PowerShell for a freshers batch. Okay, so which means that it is your freshers are becoming a huge competition for us. Okay, don't underestimate them. They are extremely strong. Okay, so which means like PowerShell is becoming a curriculum for them. Okay, so we have to scale up. We have to be much more ahead than them to be in the market. Okay, so that's the thing I really wanted to tell you, because you might not know, but I go to different companies. I'm just telling this as a caution notice to everyone.
How, so for how many hours we are going to spend on this course? It's like scheduled for this
This is
course.
going to be a 30 hours course,
Hmm.
and in this 30 hours we are going to cover from the basic to an advanced level.
Okay. Is this any certification curriculum you're following, Sheikh?
Okay. So, Vijay, there is from Microsoft, there is no certification available for PowerShell, but there is
Okay.
official course available in Microsoft, which is what I'm following. But again, like what is the challenge is like Microsoft expects the if I follow the same course, probably you will be feeling like I'm jumping here and there. That's why I've just changed it in a way like everyone can understand, because like in a batch we get people who are having experience, we don't have experience also. So I need to take it in a right channel that everyone can understand. So which means I've designed this course by myself, which is going to help everyone who is having bit knowledge and who is a starter also.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. So are we good to start? Shall we get started now?
Hello.
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah. Go ahead. Someone call me.
Yeah, myself, Raja. I'm working as a SQL database administrator.
Okay.
Okay. In this one, will it cover few of the models they are using for Azure SQL database administration through PowerShell,
Okay.
like Azure RM they're using to take the export in the Azure SQL database? Will it
Correct.
cover
So,
in this session? Like, I mean,
so Raja, again, I'm saying that we will be covering, but we will not be going too much deep into it.
no, I don't need a deep. Just it's
Yeah.
any practical session. It will connect to the SQL.
We will be
As
covering
you
it.
mentioned, it will only with the Active Directory at Windows level. But I'm working as a SQL, right? In that one, can I automate? If I join this one course, it will cover any one module in the SQL server.
You will be able to automate it. Why I'm saying that? Because see, if you're seeing my screen, by the time you come to this place called as the domain specific modules, you will be ready for automation. Already you will be ready for perfect automation. You will be ready. At that particular time, you will be ready to take your own commands from the Azure module and you will be able to start automating. You will be ready up to that point.
Okay. Thank you. And one more thing. Okay, if I do the, I mean, if I'm trying to do any automation in the SQL, if I got any doubt, can I contact you?
No, as I
This
told
is
you,
not
like
related to
I'm
the
open.
subject. So
I'm open for questions. I will be able to help you out. Once you
thank you.
see, once you enroll, right? We are a team.
Yeah,
So
sure.
we are like
Thank you.
professional colleagues.
Thank
I'm
you.
open for any help. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So just 1 minute, guys. Let's get started right now. Don't want to delay anymore.
Hi, Rohit here.
Yeah, Rohit, go ahead.
I am working as a Unix administrator. Is it helpful for me?
Rohit, do you know shell scripting?
No.
Okay.
Actually, I look at the yes.
So which means
Hello?
like any one scripting knowledge you learn it, the other scripting knowledge is just a matter of comparison. It's very easy. So here I'm going to teach you everything in a channelized way. If you learn PowerShell, then shell scripting will be very easy for you.
Okay.
So that
Thanks.
you can automate on both the technologies. You will know how to do scripting on PowerShell. You will also know how to do scripting on the shell scripting also. Both will be working fine.
Okay.
Both the knowledge
Thanks.
you can add it onto your profile. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right. So let's get started, guys. So because like we are talking. So I think we are. Any questions you have? So please put it on the chat. I will see if I can answer it.
Somebody recording, right? I mean, at the end, you can
Yes,
give
I'm
that.
recording it. I'm
Yep.
recording it. Don't worry. You will be getting it. You will be getting the recording from the right channel. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's get started. All right. Welcome everyone. Let's get started technically. So guys, in case if you are joining the demo for the second time, so please bear with me. We are going to go through the concepts again, and we are going to move on. From now, there is no more demo session. So people, so from tomorrow it will be a continuous session. Okay, so please bear with me only today, and we are going to get started. We will be dealing from tomorrow the real time things. Okay, yeah. So So first of all, before we could get started, we need to understand that who is the mastermind behind PowerShell. So the mastermind behind PowerShell, his name is Jeffrey Snower. Jeffrey is working in Microsoft as a Microsoft Technical Fellow. He's a chief architect for PowerShell and also the Azure infrastructure and the management group. So he's serving in Microsoft for the past 20 years. Uh, so he has more than 30 years of experience in the industry. So if you want to know more about him, you will be able to see his you know, the presentations on the Channel 9 website, channel9.msdn.com. So now talking about like what is Windows PowerShell. So Windows PowerShell is a native task automation scripting language. Why I say native? Because like you don't have to install anything new. As soon as you install your operating system, your PowerShell is readily available. You don't have to install anything extra. And definitely we are all here to understand that how can we do a task automation. So I say that PowerShell is a task automation and it's a script. Everything you write is a set of instructions, set of codes that you have to write. Only if you write that, you will be able to make it happen. So unless until you don't tell the command, we don't have any GUI. You cannot do a left click, right click, menu, buttons, nothing is there. Unless until you don't write a command, you are not going to get an output. So that is the concept. Next is like it is all a CLI. It's a command line interface. Same like your DOS. Okay, everyone knows that there is a command called as cd, change directory, md, ping, host name, uptime. All those things are DOS commands, right? Only if you give those commands, only you get output. The same concept over here is like unless until you don't type the command, you're not going to see the output of it. So the third point is like earlier, PowerShell was tightly coupled with operating system. When I say tightly coupled with operating system, what do I mean is like before 2016, if you really want to use PowerShell, you should be having an operating system, either a server operating system or a client operating system. Without that, you can't even use PowerShell. But what has happened after 2016 is like PowerShell has been declared as an open source. So if you say that I'm a Linux admin, I'm a Unix admin, but I'm interested in knowing PowerShell, which means like yes, you will be able to download PowerShell and install it on your Linux machine or your Ubuntu machine, and then you will be able to start using your PowerShell commands. So it has become like an open source now. So it is all built on the .NET framework. Okay. So by seeing this, we don't have to worry that, oh my God, I don't know .NET. Will I be able to learn it? You don't have to worry about that at all. We all use Android mobile, right? Android is built on Java. You don't need to know Java for using your mobile phone. That's the same concept. It's all built on .NET. That doesn't mean like you should be knowing .NET in depth or using PowerShell. No. If you know the basic concept, that is more than enough. It is a cross-platform scripting language. Why do you say cross-platform scripting language? Because it can understand few of the commands from your Linux and Unix. It can understand ls, it can understand pwd. All those commands it has taken from the Unix background, and it knows how to deal with it. And from version 6.0, Windows PowerShell is developed on the PowerShell core. All right, so now we are done with the slides, so no more slides, guys. My class is completely a 100% practical oriented classes. Okay, so everyone please open your Windows PowerShell. And now what is the first thing we are going to do is like, because we are see ultimate aim, what is that we are going to achieve in this course is like we should know how to talk to the machine. Okay, ultimately we should be able to talk to the machine, then only you will get an answer from the machine. So that is that we are going to do a handshake with this blue color screen and ourselves. That's when we'll be able to achieve something. Now first thing first, we need, whenever you are opening a PowerShell, we are all stuck like I don't know where to start, what to type, how to ask, what is the command to do. I have no idea. So the very first thing, what is that we always do, and also like this whole training course is going to be a human terminology related only. I'm not going to give you like so much of technical example. I will give you everything in a very simplified way that you come across in your life very easily. Which means like, what do we do when we first go to a restaurant and find a place? We ask for a menu card. Why do we ask for the menu card? Because like we want to understand about that particular restaurant, right? So that's why we get the menu card. The same concept over here also. We need to understand the capability of this particular machine, of this particular window. So we need to ask for a menu card. So how can you ask for a menu card? Is like by typing something called as get hyphen command. So people who are, so I want everyone to please open your Windows PowerShell. If you're on a Windows 10 machine, 7 machine, 8 machine, 8.1, anything is fine. So please open Windows PowerShell and type in the same thing what I'm typing. It will be very easy for you to learn and understand and follow me the whole class. So type in get hyphen command and hit enter and tell me, are you seeing a list of commands flying in front of you?
Yeah, we are able to.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, very good. So what is it doing? Okay, as I told you very clearly that it is looking like a menu card, right? So when you are going to restaurant, you are seeing a menu card. What is that menu card is signifying to you is that menu card is saying like, I can serve you all these things, correct? The same thing here. Your PowerShell is also telling you that I can serve you all these things, right? So which means like if you want to run any command, your machine is ready to serve all these commands. That is what it is trying to tell you. Okay, that is what it's trying to signify you. Now what is that happened is like now the menu is so big. I don't have time to go through each and every command from here. So what is that I'm going to ask is like, I need to ask pretty quickly saying like, can you give me something regarding a CSV? We all know what is a CSV. CSV is a comma separated value file. I want to deal with the CSV because my manager has asked me to do something in terms of the CSV. So I'm using a wildcard search. What is a wildcard search? Something you use with a star is called as a wildcard search. I'm saying like I'm asking the machine that can you give me any command that is having a word called as CSV in it? That is what we are asking, and I'm getting a result like this. Can you confirm that? Are you also getting a result like this?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes, we
good.
are getting.
Yeah. So now we have started talking to the machine. Okay, we have started talking to the machine. We have asked something, machine is understanding it and it is giving back to us. Okay, like the same way, let's ask about something called as like CSV. Let's ask about service. We all know, we are all any sort of administrator, we all know that every machine has a service, and we need to manage it. So now I'm asking like, give me everything that talks about service. It has given this to me. Okay, so now can you check on your system also? You got everything which is related to service.
Yes.
Okay, so can we check about something called as a process? Can you check if you're having some list of commands related to process?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Right? So now we have started talking to the machine. Now what is the next thing we are going to do is like we are going to understand that what is it giving to me. Okay, I will create a notes also. Here is my notes. So and also I'll tell you one more thing. You know, during this training, uh, every day I will be creating a notes for you, so that at the time of sharing the recorded video, I will be sharing you this notes also, so that you can go through it. You can keep it with you at any time. You can take it as a reference, and you will be able to understand it in a much better way. Okay. So now what is that we are doing now? We are talking to the machine, and as of now, to start with, we are going to talk only about the commandlet. Okay, don't concentrate on anything else. As of now, let's talk only about the commandlet which you see on the left side. Now, what is a commandlet? Commandlet is nothing but a command which does a course of action. Okay, a command which does an action. Okay, let's keep it simple. Which does an action. Okay, now what is a commandlet? What is a commandlet structure? Okay, if you notice that every command is having the same structure, say like there is one word over here, hyphen, another word is over here. Okay, in this whole list of commandlet, do you find any space in between? Is there any command which contains a space in between? Do you see it? Anywhere do you see space inside this commandlet?
No.
No.
No? That is what it is. It is very important to know that what is the structure is like. The structure of any PowerShell commandlet. You take any technology, you take AD, Azure, VMware, Amazon, like AWS, you take anywhere, any technology, it does not have a space onto it. What is the structure is like? It is in the structure of a verb hyphen noun. Okay, so now see, like, does not contain spaces. There is no spaces at all in any of the command across the globe you take in PowerShell. Okay, that's not designed in that way at all. Okay, so now what is that we are doing is like, now what are the different verbs available? What is a get? Get means like, guys, please don't do drawing that does not look good. Please remove it, whomsoever is doing. You can click on the pencil button and you can clear it. So please clear it. That does not look good. Thank you very much. So so what is the get command is like? Get command is a view command. It's a very simple view command. All other things, say like enter or set, all these things will make changes. Okay, now let's do one thing. Everyone knows how to open a service on a machine. How do you open a service on a machine? What is the shortcut? Services.msc. Service.msc. Now, as I told you that we are going to do everything as a comparative study in terms of GUI. Now we know how to open something on GUI. The same concept we are going to do it on PowerShell. So can you please search for any command that talk about service and look into the result and tell me which command is looking relevant, which can help me to open and view the service. Please run the command and look into the result. It is very important that you have to read through the result. So please read through the result and tell me which command is looking relevant, which can help you to
Get service.
view the service.
Get
Everyone
service.
got that one? Yeah. Right?
Get
so now,
service.
yeah. So we know that when as I told you that get is a command which is it is a view only command. What are we trying to view? Get -service. Can we try this? See, it's showing me all the running services, stopped services. It's showing the name of the service. It is showing the display name. Everything it is definitely showing this. Right? Or you got the same result?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Now the next question is like, we all know what is a process. We all know what is the process. The same thing, can we do it over here? Can you check for all the process and tell me which command can get me all the list of process available in my machine?
Get-process.
Very good. Everyone got the result?
Yes.
Sir, one more doubt is like process and service both are same or how?
No,
both are
process is different. Process is different, service is different. Now process is something like which is this,
Okay.
which you see in your task manager, which is this. Now for example, if I close any process, it is gone. But a service is something like which is installed as a part of your applications. That is different. This is different.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So now everyone, when you run get-process, are you seeing all the list of process available on your system? Is that working out?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now what is that we have done? We have learned two commands. Now we are all administrators, right? So now we all deal with event viewer. Everyone knows event viewer, right? So because whenever there is a problem, we first we get into the event and then we look into like what has gone wrong. So how can we launch event viewer through GUI?
Event BWI.
Event
BWR.
PWR, correct?
Yeah.
The event PWR is going to help me to open it.
Yeah.
Okay, now what is that we are going to do is like, Okay, now what is that we did was like, just 1 minute, let me close all these windows. Yeah. So what is that we have done is like, we know how to open things on the event viewer. Now the same thing we are going to do it on the PowerShell. Okay, can we do the same concept? How can we search any command that talks about event
Yeah.
like this? Can you try this and tell me what is the result you are seeing? So now, as I told you, concentrate only on the get commands. Concentrate only on the get command as of now.
Yeah. Get event is there.
Get event is there.
Yeah.
Are you getting a sort of result like this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes.
Get event log.
Okay, yeah, and we are going to find out like which one is the best suit. Okay, don't worry, we are going to evaluate it. Now everyone got these 4 commands on your system, correct? Everyone got 4 commands on your system.
Yeah.
Now what is that we need to do is like, we need to find out which one is the best command. Okay, because earlier you saw something called as get-service, that is a straightforward command. You did get-process, that was a straightforward command. Now here it is showing you 4 commands. You have to find the best one. Okay, for that we are going to do a very same thing like what do you do in terms of a shopping. When you do a shopping, what do? You find the best tool, you find the best product which is going to suit your requirement, right? Here also we are going to do the same thing. Sometimes when you are doing a shopping, by seeing itself we reject a product, right? The same way I'm rejecting this one because like it is talking something about event subscriber and I'm not so much interested in it. Okay, rejected. Okay, because it is completely irrelevant for my requirement. Now the second thing is like, let's talk about this win event. Okay, when I see this win event, on the next tab, do you notice something called as this 3.0.0.0?
Yeah.
Okay, that is talking about the version, which means like it is from a older version of PowerShell. Because when I see about this get-event and get-event log, these two looks recent. So win event being an older command, I reject it because like older version. Okay, now we are left with only 2 products to choose. So we are going to decide amongst whether the best product is going to be get-event or a get-event log. Now see here, I want everyone to type in get-event and tell me what is the result you get.
Nothing.
Nothing is coming.
Everyone,
Yeah.
okay, everyone is getting an empty result.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
So now what is the problem happening is like you are getting empty result when you are doing something called as the get-event. Now I do something called as get-event log. I hit enter. It is asking me something. Can you try get-event log? Is that asking you something?
Yeah, it does.
Yes.
Correct. Now we are left with 2 questions now. What is the 2 questions which is coming up in our mind is like, why get-event is empty? Correct. That is also looking like a good command, but why is that empty? Second question is arising is like, what is get-event log asking for? Correct. Are these 2 questions arising in our mind saying like, what is happening? I don't know like what to do that. Correct. So for that, what is that we are going to learn is like, we are going to learn how to see a product manual. Okay. Whenever you are doing a shopping for a product, when you are not so clear with that particular product, what do? We look into the product catalog, we look into the product description. We need to understand more about the particular product, right? The same thing we are going to do over here. So try to relate everything to a very simple human terminology. Now I say that, so please stop it by pressing Ctrl C and then you can type CLS to clear the screen. Now can you search for any command that talks about help? Help. Search for any command that talks about help. Are you getting a similar result?
Yeah.
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 In that one, we are going to concentrate and take this command called as a help. What is that we are
Get
going to do
help.
is like get hyphen help. What is the help that we are planning to look is the help of a command called as get hyphen event. Right. So I told you that we are looking into a product manual. Which product we are looking into it? The product name called as get hyphen event. Now hit enter.
Yeah.
And tell me, are you getting the same result like what I am seeing my screen, or is that bit different, or is that prompting you for a update?
It's bit different.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a syntax.
Description is not there.
Tax
No,
That
aliases
needs
and
to be
remarks.
used.
You're
There
saying
is no
like
description.
yeah, no
it's
description.
incomplete. Few of them it is incomplete. Is that what you're saying?
For you,
For me,
there
it's
is
like
description.
syntax, alias, remarks.
Yeah,
Exactly.
For us, it's
those
remarks.
three things we are able to see.
Very good. See, there are only two possibilities that could have happened when you typed in something called as when you did something called as get hyphen help. What are those is like the first possibility is like you are seeing an incomplete help. Why? Because your help is not updated. Okay, I will tell you how to update it. Anyone getting a prompt? Anyone is your PowerShell prompting you to update automatically? Anyone?
No.
Okay,
No.
that's totally cool. No problem. See here, now let me go back and tell me by looking into this list of commands on my screen, which command can help me to update the help repository.
Update
Update help
hyphen
is there.
help.
It help.
Very plain English word, update hyphen help. Now that is the command that you are going to run on your system. So type in update hyphen help, and then it will ask you for a confirmation. You please say yes, and I will tell you one thing. There are two prerequisites for it. The first is like you need to have an internet connection, which you're already having it. Second prerequisite is that you need to be an administrator. Okay, so by looking into this window, how do you identify whether I have logged in as a normal user or administrator?
Title bar.
Sorry?
By looking at the title, administrator.
Exactly. See here, everyone is seeing this place. This is the way that it confirms that whether you logged in as an administrator or not. So if you have logged in as administrator, please type in update hyphen help. Okay. If you are not logged in as administrator, please open administrator window and then try update hyphen help. Either way, it will update. When I say update, what is it doing is like it is contacting the manufacturer and it is trying to get all the product manual for you. That is what it is doing. All right, go ahead. Let me know if there is any difficulty. Yeah, Dinesh, go ahead. You can unmute yourself and you can speak up, or you can put your question on the chat.
Yeah, the question is like there's a different on that. There's some say that like if you go here, the application and function. So what is that? I mean, when
Okay.
we are
Which
running
window are
this,
you in?
just can you just scroll up
This one?
again?
Okay. Yeah.
No,
This
no,
one you're
again,
saying?
up. No. Again, slightly up. Yeah, this one. The functions, command type functions, and an
Okay.
application. So what is the difference here?
Okay, there is a huge difference. When I say exe, okay, if you notice, exe is nothing but it is just a shortcut for you to open the real application. There is something called a services.exe. If you type in services.exe, what will happen? Either you can type it services.exe from here, or else if you run services.exe from here, wait 1 minute, I say get hyphen help, or else get hyphen command. Then I say start save. Okay, the last one, what you see is the application. Correct? See here, is this the one which you use on the run window to, is it the same one you use on the run window to open it?
Yeah.
So that's what it is, which means like if I type in here services.msc, it is going to open the application. That's it. Okay, so that's why I say like we are going to concentrate on the commandlet because those are the real PowerShell commandlets. Function is something like it is a set of commands which is covered in the later part. Yes, we will be doing it.
What is that command for the update help? Complete command?
Update hyphen help. That's it.
That's it, right? Okay.
Yes.
And how about that the functions on the go up?
That's what
Application go
functions. Functions are also something we'll be discussing it in our later topic. Function is nothing
Okay.
but a set of commands which is created as a bundle.
Okay.
Suhail, PowerShell is used in Ansible. Okay, so PowerShell can individually can also do a lot of automation. Yes.
So the update help do the all the commandlets manual update, right? Like
Yes.
yeah.
Which means like now
in Unix we get all the commands manuals, right? So same thing here. Right?
manual, same like man space command is there, right?
Unix, yeah.
Same concept. If you notice, man is also available here. Type in this one, man space get hyphen service.
Correct.
I told you, right? It is a combination of your it's a platform independent. It is a multiple platforms are involved in it. So man is a manual command in Linux, which is applicable here also. Okay, so like if it is erroring out for a single module, that's okay. Don't worry about that. Okay, if you only thing you have to look into is like check if it is saying as access denied. Only if you are run as administrator, then one module was 10 it fails. Either it's a defender module or any other module that always fails. That's okay. Don't have to worry about it. After your everyone is trying update, is that completed for most of you?
No, it's going on still.
Okay. Yes, completed. Yeah.
Completed. Please run the same command. Please run the same command saying get hyphen help space get hyphen event and tell me now are you seeing the description on your system? Now do you see description? Okay, what is error?
Try to update help for the module.
That's okay. That's okay. If it is only one module, you don't have to worry about it. Only thing how you can validate whether your update has gone successful or not is by typing this help command again and confirm if you are seeing description.
Sure.
So for me, it is like some 4 or 5 modules. It is failed to update. Config Defender, WS Man Management, PS Readline.
Okay, so PS. Okay, that's okay. Sometimes it happens, but can you confirm it by running this command again to see if it is updated or not?
Okay, but this time I'm just getting a description along with the syntax, remarks, synopsis.
It is good, which means your whatever the commands which we require for the management that is updated. We are happy with that.
Okay, fine.
So what is the difference between PowerShell and PowerShell ISE? What is the elevated one?
I will explain about that as and when time comes.
Okay, so as of now, we are opening only PowerShell, right? ISE,
Yes,
right?
yes. No, I want you to do it on normal PowerShell. Why? Because PowerShell ISE will help you too much. Okay, so that like you won't even encounter an error for learning purpose. You need to fail. You need to encounter error. Then only your learning is good. Okay, PowerShell ISE will don't even allow you to make a mistake. So which definitely we will move on to that to ISE also. But when we are doing a full-fledged scripting.
Understand. Yeah. So learning is, I think the normal one is good because ISE
Yes.
will go all the.
Yeah, ISE will help you too much. It will give you too much of spoon feeding. It will do. So we will move on as and when we are comfortable with this particular tool. Okay. Yeah. So now everyone have you all updated your help and are you able to see the same window as I can show on my screen? Is that get hyphen help space get hyphen event. Everyone is having this kind of result on your screen.
Yes.
Yeah, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, Sheikh.
Yes. Okay. Good. Now let's try to find the answers for the questions which came up. What was the first question we encountered? Why get-event is showing empty? That was the first question we encountered, right? We are going to find the answer on the product manual. See here, it says that get-event can get you the events only which are in the event queue. What do you mean by the event queue? Which means like we all know that event viewer is a place where all the logs need to be written. If for some reason that the logs are pending in the queue to be written, only those kind of logs are written on the event queue. That is the concept of a get-event. Now I say that now are you guys getting an idea that why is that empty? Because all the logs which are generated has been successfully written onto the log container. So there's nothing in the pending state. Getting an idea, everyone?
So yeah, sorry. So that means like I ran this command multiple times. So every time I got the empty result. So I can expect some time or maybe while it generating the logs or creating the logs, so I will get some result.
No, I'll tell you there is a different way of doing it, because like the system is like very fast. It is writing it on the log container. I'm just doing this for a comparative study. These many times I ran get-event, none of the time I've seen the result. Just try to take it as an example for a better understanding. Okay, so but as an administrator, you will never ever open get-event. There is also a reason for it. You will understand after we learn the next command. Okay. Yeah, so try to do a comparative study. I'm just doing it. Okay, so that is that, as I told you, like I designed this as a flow, right? So please understand the flow and you can go for it. Okay, now when we ran something called as get-event log, it was asking for a question. Okay, now we need to understand like what is that question it was asking for. So see here, we open event viewer like this. Tell me something that, do you see the logs directly over here?
No, we have to go to the sub-level.
Which means unless until you don't go expand this and click on the application, you don't even see the logs. Is that right?
Correct.
Correct. Which means it's a two-step process in your graphical user interface. That same two-step process is there on the get-event log also. When you do get-event log, what it has done is like by typing get-event log, it has opened the window. Now it is asking you, where should I go and click? Which log I should click? I should open it. So now I say that you please go and open something called as the application log. Now if you hit enter, you will be seeing the log. Can you check it and tell me if that is working? And you can stop it by pressing Ctrl C.
Yeah.
It's working.
Yeah, it's working.
Right. So now let's do one thing. Let's open the manual. Let's open the manual for get-event log and see what is it has to explain to us. Okay, now things are working successfully. We need to understand like how it is working successfully. So see here, when I go to the manual, yeah.
Hari here. Actually, when I am typing to the get-event log, it is throwing an error. Previously, we were getting the same error, right? That one it is showing to me.
Yeah, you know what? Are you using PowerShell 7?
I'm not sure about that.
I think it is you are using PowerShell 7. In PowerShell 7, the command get-event log has been removed, and you will have a command called as get-win event. So type in get-win event.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, that's the reason. So when you searched for event also, you wouldn't have find something called as get-event log. Is that right?
Get-event
log will not be there in the list when you are searching something called as get-event command space star event star.
Okay.
So because slowly they are revamping it, they are bringing the win-event again. But why I am using 5.1 is that, Ankur, please can you go on mute? So why I am using 5.1 is like 5.1 is a very stable version which is available in many of the operating systems. So it will work very stable. That's why I'm doing that. So now guys, everyone open this event log. I hope everyone is having a screen similar to what I'm showing to you. Now let's read the manual. It very clearly says like what is the job of the get-event log? Gets the event log in event log container or a list of event logs or on the local or a remote computer, right? That is what we are looking for, right? We are looking for something which the event we want to see on the local computer or the remote computer. That is the ideology all about. Okay, now that's why it is all working. Everyone got the result of get-event log on your PowerShell the same way how you are doing it on GUI.
Yeah.
Everyone?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Now you know what? Now what is important is like we need to know how to understand the manual. Okay. Now let's say something that you are going to a shopping mall and you want to purchase a product. You are looking into the manual. Everything is written in some different language which you can't even understand. Okay, then it will be tough for you to finalize whether to buy the product or not, right? So why I'm saying that, because when you are choosing a product, you should know how to read the product manual so that you can decide it correctly. So that's why I'm saying that being an administrator, you should know how to read this particular product manual so that you can decide and shop this product as a right tool or not. That is why I'm saying that we are going to discuss like what are the things which are available inside this product manual, what is that I should take and what is that I should understand. That is what we are going to see here. Now first is like it is having a simple name for this particular command saying get-event log, which is pretty simple and straightforward. What is the synopsis is like? It is giving you a very brief description that what is this command capable of. Next is like the most important one, the answer for everyone who are saying like I am so and so administrator, will I be able to do those commands or not? That answer is going to be available over here. So see here, what is this? This is a syntax. What is the syntax is like? Syntax is called as a technical boundary of PowerShell. What is the syntax? Syntax is a technical boundary of the command, which means like if you have a question saying like does this command do this, same thing we do with the product, right? So when you are going to purchase a TV, we ask like does this TV has a Android connection, does this TV has a say like a Wi-Fi connection, all those things we ask, right? And where is that all written? It's all written on the manual. Okay, so that is the capability of this command. If you're asking like, does this command connect to a different computer? Yes or no? Which means answer is right over here. Can you tell me, can this command connect to a different computer?
Yes.
Yes.
Right?
Hyphen computer name.
How do you say that? Yes, there is a capability written over here saying like, yes, it can connect to a different computer. That is what it is. So if you are having a question, if you want to know about the capability of a command, the only place you got to look into this one, which means like only if it has the capability, it is all designed over here. Okay, it is a structure, it is a capability of this particular command to finalize that how this is going to work. So I say that syntax is a technical boundary, shows the capabilities of a command. Okay, so it can do only the things which is defined over here. It cannot do anything extra. Okay, if it is designed that this command can do only this. If a TV is designed to do a job of a TV, it will do only the job of a TV. It cannot do the job of an AC. That's how it is. Okay, if you have to talk much more in a real time way. So whenever you have a question saying like, Sheikh, will get-event log will be able to connect to one computer? Yes, it can connect. Okay, can it connect to a service? Means no, it cannot connect to a service because it does not know how to connect to a service. That is the concept over here. Now, anything and everything that you are seeing with the hyphen is called as a parameter. Okay, anything that with the hyphen, guys, can you go on mute? There is a noise in the background. Ganesh. Yeah, thank you very much. So now, what is that I'm going to tell you is like, now we are in the syntax. Anything and everything with the hyphen anything with a hyphen is called the parameters. Okay, what is a parameter is to supply input. Okay, why do we use a parameter? Parameter is mentioned to supply an input. Now you all said like I can connect to a computer name, I can connect to a different computer, right? You have to tell like which computer to connect. How will you tell which computer to connect? By using something called as this hyphen computer name. Just now you told the machine, you told PowerShell to connect to a log name. Which log name we gave? We gave the input as application, right? So that is what is the concept over here. So you say that anything that you see with the hyphen is called as a parameter, and parameters are available on the syntax which defines the boundary of that particular command. Is that helpful? Is that clear for everyone? Are you able to understand what I'm talking about? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, see, now tomorrow, as you guys asked, like, if you want to know more about any other command, I say like get hyphen ad user. What is get hyphen ad user? Get hyphen ad user, a very simple command which can get you all the users. So now, if I read through this, do you understand? No, now you might have ran get hyphen ad user command without knowing what is a filter. Hyphen filter is a parameter, right? So hyphen properties is a parameter, right? All those things are parameter, right? I'm sure everyone does that. Hyphen result page size, right? So now you need to start correlating with what is that you don't know, and you need to get a clarity of it. That is the main aim of this particular course. Now, are you getting a clarity on what is something called as a syntax, and what to look up inside the syntax? Are you getting a clarity of it?
Is there a way like, sorry, is there a
Good.
way like, just when we run this command, get even log hyphen log name. So log name is a parameter. That's okay. So is there a way we can find out what will be the string? I mean, like, I know that here it will be application or
Okay. Yeah, right.
but
So see here. Okay, if you are asking that, okay, let's take it in a way like I don't even know what is a log name. Okay, so then you can do something like this: get hyphen help, get hyphen event log. I want to know more about something called as a parameter called as the log name. Does that give you more information about log name? So again, I'm saying like Dinesh, if you're asking questions saying like, how do I know what to type, whether an application, whether the system or the security? Is that what your question is?
yes.
Yes, that is also possible. But what I suggest is like, being an administrator, you should know how things are working on GUI. Then only it is a good practice for you to come to PowerShell. So as an administrator, do you know that there are these many log containers available? So it is compulsory to know that. I hope you understand what I'm saying.
Okay. No, that's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. For this
But,
one,
but,
I know,
but
but
don't
there are
worry.
bit, but
But don't
just
worry,
I'm
things
asking.
are available in PowerShell also. It is available. I'm not denying that it is available on PowerShell also. If you say like, can you give me the list? See, the list is over here. There is something called as application. There is something called
This
as
is what I'm.
security. Yeah, it is available. You can definitely get it from PowerShell also. It is available. No problem at all. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks.
Well. So guys, what is that you need to know is like how to get more details about the parameter. So this is what this will also I paste it over here. More detail about a parameter by typing this. So if you type that, automatically you will get it. Guys, are we understanding? Are we in the right track? Anyone is feeling confused? Anyone feeling lost?
Sir, I have a query. It's like you told like whether our system is connected to the other system, we can check it with the get-event log, right?
Yes.
But when I try to type get-event log is giving full of logs. But
Okay.
when I give event get-event help you told, no, help hyphen. So that one was giving the description, but not like how you have showed us, like how it was able to, that we can check the string name of the other computer that we are connected to.
No, I didn't say that you can check the computer which is connected to. No, that is not the right command to do that.
Oh, okay. You're telling like we can also do with that. Is that something like that?
Yes, yeah, that's what I'm saying. When you are thinking that I want to connect to a different computer, where is that you can confirm yes it can connect or no it cannot connect. Where you can confirm it is inside the syntax. That is what it is.
Okay.
Okay. Let me give you one more
Okay.
example, guys. See here,
Sure.
everyone knows that there is a command called as restart hyphen service. Okay, when everyone knows there is a concept to restart hyphen service. Can you tell me, can I connect to a different computer from here using this command? Can you tell me, can I connect to a different computer using this command?
No, I think it's not.
Start a service. I think if you provide the service.
No, we can't.
We can't.
Computer name is
We
not there.
can't,
Through
we
GUI
can't
is
connect it
not
because
possible.
it is not possible at all. Do you see here? Didn't even say that you can only start one or more service, but if there is a possibility to connect to a different computer, it will tell you on the description itself, like see here, on a local or a remote computer. Are you guys understanding like how to read the product manual? That's what I'm helping you. So the product manual, if you read it correctly, everything will become very easy for you. Okay, so that's when you'll be able to
Now,
do automation at any place. Yeah, go ahead.
the syntax right now, what you're showing on screen now, that get event log, it is showing the syntax, and below that one more get event log as string. Like, what is the difference? Is it an example?
No, it is not an example. I will tell you that this question I have it in my mind, which I have not got an answer. Like why these things are written twice.
Okay.
Here there is already one computer name. Here there is again a computer
name. Because you did a list now that is there only in the second command.
Correct.
I think.
Correct. I understand that, but you take it as one component. If there is a duplication, just ignore it, is what I can advise. Honestly, I don't know why it is written twice.
Okay.
Okay, try to find answer. I have not got an answer for that till now. Okay. Yeah, but again, if you're asking question like what is this as string, that we can find it. See here, as string, that we can find out. See, it says like what kind of, it is give you more explanation about that particular parameter. That is the idea of it. Okay, guys, everyone understanding like how to read a manual so that we can learn better. So now again I'm saying like this concept is same for any command and every command across PowerShell, across all the technologies. If you know how to read one help, you can read any help. Yeah, go ahead. Someone else talking.
Question here. So the command says it cannot connect to the remote system to restart the service, right? So can we combine the two commands and then execute on the remote system service restart?
It is possible. We will be seeing all those things. Don't worry. I will tell you like we will be doing it till a level like we will see like how to get a service on 100 computers, how to restart a service on 100 computers, and we can take that as a report saying like how many successful, how many failure. We will be seeing up to that level. Okay, everything we are having in this course. We just started it, right? So everything is possible. Okay, so guys, everyone, are you understanding the concept that what I'm talking? Are you able to understand how we are progressing step by step?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good. So see here, what is it I'm going to do is like I say get hyphen service hyphen log name. I'm going to supply the input on a single line itself. I don't want to PowerShell to ask me, then I have to give it. No, I'm going to give it on a single liner. So please, everyone, please try this. Saying get hyphen service hyphen log name and then application and hit enter. See what is, I'm so sorry. Get hyphen event log. So sorry. Get hyphen event log and then log name application. Please try and let me know what happens. Does that show you the list of logs?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. See this command, get hyphen event log and then hyphen log name. application. Everyone getting the result? Anyone is getting any error? Anyone not getting the right output? Please let me know.
Yeah, getting.
Getting
Yeah,
it?
we're getting the result.
Now, let me ask you a question. Okay. I don't want to see the whole list of logs. I want to see only the latest 10 logs. Okay. The question I'm asking is like,
Yeah, go with the hyphen newest 10.
yeah, wait, okay, cool. Wait, you know what, Dinesh, I know you attended last time. Let's allow chances for others also. Okay, so list of first 10 logs from application container. Okay, so now what is the goal is that, see here, now it is showing me all hundreds and thousands of logs which I don't want it. My question is like, I want to see only the latest 10 logs. So the answer is available on the help of get-event log on this syntax. Please read through the syntax and tell me which one is going to be the right suitable one for me to get the answer. So guys who have already attended demo, please hold on so that we can come to the same level, and then the question I will open for everyone. So sorry about that.
I think date time is there, so we can use that before and after.
Okay. You know what, Ganesh, if you use date and time, how can you definitely say that there are only 10 logs inside? There can be more logs, but there can be less logs, right?
More than logs, yeah, 10 logs. Yeah.
I think it would be limit event log.
Limit event log, where do you find that, Sumi? I don't see it. Where do you see
I
limit?
think it is newest 10.
Yeah, newest
Right.
10.
Right. So when you are reading through it, you will land up in a place called as hyphen newest. Yes, that is what it is. So now you know what? Still, we are not 100% confirmed. That could be or that could not be. So how can I know more about this? By typing something called as hyphen parameters, and then I say newest. When I do that, it is saying like specifies the maximum number of events that this commandlet gets. Yeah, now that is what we really wanted. So now I say that I want to open the get-event log. Okay, now the window is open. Imagine how things happen in GUI. Now the event log window is open. Now I'm going to go to the left side and then I'm going to open the application log. Now what is the next input I'm giving is like hyphen newest and then 10. So I'm saying that don't give me everything, give me only the latest 10. Is that answer correct? Please do that on your system and tell me if that is working.
Yeah, it's working.
One more thing is that it accepts only integers. So if you type any
Obviously.
character,
it will fail. Yeah, that is what we are understanding from the syntax. See here, what do we understand from the syntax is like what kind of input it can accept. It can accept only an integer. That is the understanding. That is a learning. It's a continuous learning, and that's what we are doing over here. Everyone is getting a result of only the 10 logs on your system.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting.
Yes, we're getting it.
Yeah.
Good. So have we started talking to PowerShell? Now you are asking something, you are getting a reply also. Okay. Now you know what? Let's do the same thing what you said. Let me ask you a question saying like find all the logs from the application container which are logged between 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Now you tell me how
I think we can specify hyphen after date and hyphen before date time.
very good. Yeah. Guys, is my voice breaking?
No, sir.
No, right? Okay. Good.
No.
So see here, what do we understand from the syntax is like there is something called as hyphen after. and hyphen before. So that is what the question is being asked. So see here, I say get hyphen event log. Every time you have to start from the scratch. That is the main intention over here. I say get hyphen event log, the window is opened. I say log name, application, it went to the left side and has opened it. Now what is it filtering? It's like hyphen after, what is my question is like 7 p.m. Either you can give it as 7 p.m. like this, or else you can convert that to a 24 hours format and you can give it. Anyways, it's totally fine and it's accepted. I say hyphen before, this one I converted to a 24 hours time format. Can you validate the result? Is that correct or not? Please validate the result also. It is very important to validate the result as an administrator. Please confirm.
I have a question here. It's
Yeah, sure.
regarding that. The question is why we are using double comma here. Is
Good
there,
question.
I mean,
See here, because there is a space in between, to make this 0700 PM, to make it as a single entity, we are using a double quotes here. See here, if I remove this one, what happens, these two become two different things. See exactly where is the error pointing it out. Do you notice that? It is
Okay,
exactly
so
telling you that this is the problem. Yeah.
so okay, so if you remove PM, then it's okay. We can do without double comma.
Yeah. Because both are connected. Now, do you think, so now, it is taken from morning 7. That is okay. So instead of that morning 7, I make it as, say, like 19, which is correct. So when there is a space, guys, everyone please notice, it was a very valid question. Whenever there is a space, your command stops processing at that particular place and it considers the next one as a new command. Okay. So now the question is like, the point is that key point, whenever there is a space involved, use double quotes to make it as a single entity. That is the idea of it. Everyone getting an answer clearly? Everyone getting the answer between this particular limit?
Yeah, Sheikh, one more doubt actually for me. We will use somewhere like a single quotes.
Yes.
What is that for?
There is a specific difference of a single quotes and a double quotes, which I will explain you when we are doing the output statements. That will help you very clearly to understand the difference between a single. But here you can't find a difference, but there you will find a very clear difference between that.
Okay, Sheikh, is it possible? I know you have own your the way to teach, but I have a question here. Is it possible you can just give some idea why we use double commas, why we are using single comma, so that whenever you will run these type of commands, so everyone will aware that why you use double comma like that.
Okay. You know what? I totally understand that, Dinesh. See here. Okay, I would like to tell that there is, as of now, there is no difference between a double quotes and a single quotes. Take it in that way. As of now, there is no difference between a double quotes and a single quotes. As in when time comes, I will tell like what is it. Because if I tell now, right, Dinesh, it will be completely. If I write something called as dollar and start writing, it will be a disconnection. That's why. Okay, but it is definitely, I will explain. Before you ask me, I will only explain that. Don't worry about that. Okay, so as of now, take it in a way that there is no difference between double quotes and single quotes in this particular situation. Take it in that way.
Sir, actually for me, with the double quotes or single quotes or without anything, I'm not getting any results.
Okay, so Sumi, what time was your laptop turned on? Do you see the log really?
I think
Sheikh, sorry to interrupt. So
No.
So change the log name, so you'll get the result. Probably if you change the name to system, you might get the result.
And also very important is like if your machine is not turned on, logs are not generated, right? That is the reason. So if,
Oh,
if nothing is
okay,
there,
okay. If I change the time, I'm getting. Yes, sir. Got it.
make it as morning, 7 o'clock, you will get it.
Yeah, yeah. Now
Right?
I'm able to see. Yeah.
Right. That's the
Thank you.
idea. Everyone clear with what we are doing? Guys, are we clear?
Yeah.
Everyone? Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
now question is like the same question I'm going to ask you, but not for today. I'm going to ask the same question for yesterday. Find all the logs from the application container which are logged between, say, like 17th July, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. How will you do this?
Yeah, the concept will be same. Like we need to here just put date.
Date? Exactly, you're right. Okay. Now you know what?
What format you have to put the date? In what format you have to put the date?
Okay, I'm going to tell that to you. The format that you the suggested or the recommended format is the month / date / year. Okay, now there is a space involved. So to make this space to be a single entity, I'm going to put a double quotes like this. Okay, please follow this one. Test it. Is that showing July 17 on your system?
So is this the recommended way of writing the date, or can that be different as well?
Is recommended. Why? Because like it all depends upon how your machine accepts it. Why I say recommended, because 95% of the machine accepts it. Few machines still goes with the date and then month, because like when I go for some trainings, right? Because of some of the updates installed on the computer, sometimes it takes in a date and the month format. But I just leave it to you, because like there are only few opportunities in this one, saying like either the month date or date month. Only that probability you have to test it out and find the answer on your system.
So on the right side bottom corner, if you see the format of the date which is displayed, I'm
Oh.
using Win 10. It shows
Okay.
exactly the same how you have typed.
Correct. But let's do one thing. What I do is like I change it to something called as 17/7. Let's test it out if that is working out or not. That's okay. We can definitely play around. Not a issue.
I think it's depend on the date format. In US, I think starts with month, right? Starting. So
Exactly. So what I'm saying is like I'm from India, and it's all about that how your patches are installed on your laptop.
yeah.
And I just leave it to you, saying like you can juggle around and find out, because there are only few probabilities, either date month or month date. Only few probabilities are there. Please do a probability and combination, and then you can get it answered. You can get the answer out of it. That's what I would like to say. Okay. Dinesh, is that okay? So please don't mind because I said that. Please don't take it personally. It is for a better flow that I said. Okay, hope you don't mind.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Only my concern was, like, you put double comma. So
I am
like me, I don't know why you use double comma. So if
it will be explained at the right time. Okay.
okay, that's okay.
So now if you notice, for you only I made it as a single quotes. I don't even find any difference. It's the same. Same thing is happening if I put a single quotes also. It is doing the same job. So yeah, as and when time comes, I will definitely explain. Don't worry about that. Because everyone is getting the log for yesterday's date. Everyone is successful.
Yes, we are getting that.
Okay, very good. Now everyone now having an idea like how can I read the syntax? Now I can at least I can go and read a syntax. Everyone getting that confidence now?
Yeah.
Everyone getting a conference? Okay, now yeah, that is very important. Now, what is the next thing we are going to see today is that, see here, now when I ran something called as get-event log, or when you run any command for that matter, what is that you are seeing over here? See here, all these things are called as the index, time, entry type, source, all those things like what you see over here, these are all called the properties of a particular command. Okay, I say that all those things are called the properties or the headers or the address. Okay, why do I say address? Because if you want to tell PowerShell to go to a specific place and do something, you have to specify the address. Okay, being said that, if I want to tell PowerShell to go to this particular place and get me all the information means you have to tell this entry type. If you want to tell PowerShell to go to a place called a source and get something means you have to tell the address. That address, we are just taking it for our own understanding, but technically speaking, all those things are called as the properties. Are we clear?
Yeah.
Can you tell me what are the three properties of get-service? Tell me what are the three properties of get-service?
Start, stop,
Display name.
Mhm.
The type source.
No, I'm asking the question is, what are the three properties of
Display
the command called as
state,
get-service?
status, display
Very
name,
good.
name.
Yes. You have to simply do get-service and look into this headers and tell me the answer. That's what I was asking. Everyone understanding what is a header, what is a property is what we are doing. Okay. See here now, how can you tell PowerShell to go to this particular place? Now, what is the information? What is that? It is over here inside the entry type. It is having information. Now I'm saying that I want to find all the error.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I want to find all the error because like, we are all administrators, right? So what is that we are more concentrating is like on the error part. Now, how can I tell PowerShell to go to this particular place and do something is like by typing something called as get-event log -log name application and then -entry type. Okay, what is the header? The header is entry type is error. What is that we are looking for is the error. Can you try this one, please?
So this
Can you
entry
try
type
this
is a
one on your
property
system?
there?
Entry type is the property name. I will tell you also like what it is. It is also a parameter. It is also a parameter. I'll tell you that also. Is that listing all the errors?
Yeah.
Can you confirm is that listing all the errors?
Yeah, it is displaying.
Yeah.
Of event log and tell me. Yeah, go ahead.
Is it a case sensitive? Like error can be typed small or big?
No, the whole PowerShell is a non-case sensitive language.
Okay.
So guys, you typed in -entry type and it worked. Can
Okay,
you tell
if
me? Is that,
okay, in case if I want to like we ran a command get event log -log name application entry type error. Look, if I want to see the error is okay for particular thing like VSS. Okay, so we need to use source as well, correct?
exactly, that's what I'm coming around. That's the next point I'm going to give you a clarity of it.
Okay. Thank you.
So people, everyone, now you typed in -entry type and it worked. We need to find the reason like how come it worked. When you go to your syntax, do you see something called as -entry type listed?
Yes, it is listed here.
it is listed. That's how it worked. Okay, so now what is it saying? What is the understanding from the syntax is like, if you type hyphen entry type, you should type only these things which are listed over here, either error, information, failure, like that you should type it. So the understanding is like, whatever the header which you see over there, that should be available inside the syntax, then only it will work. Okay.
Correct.
So that is important. That is important for you to understand. Now, do you see something called as a, so now you know what? Let me ask you a question. So what is the question I asked first here was like, find all the error events which you did it successfully. Everyone completed this first question. Is that done on for everyone?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Now my second question is like, find only the latest 10 error events. How will you do it?
Newest 10 hyphen newest 10.
Hyphen the same thing.
Same thing. Newest and 10. Has that given only the error? Can you please try it on your system?
Yeah.
Yeah. So which means like, what is that I'm trying to say is like, you can use anything which is available inside the syntax, provided if the header is available. Now the question is when I come back, you ask me a question saying like, I want the error and I also want the source. That's what you asked, right? Yes, it is possible. I say hyphen source, and then I say, what is a wildcard character? Star is a wildcard character. Everyone knows that star is a wildcard character, right? I say star. See here, it is now showing only the things which are available, which is starting with software. Is that happening? Can you please try it on your system and tell me how it is happening? Is that happening the same way?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I want to get only the message that is starting with license. Can you confirm and tell me, is there a parameter called as message? Can you confirm and tell me, is there a parameter called as message?
Yes, I believe.
Yes, it is there. Yes, it is available.
It is available. It is available. So which means like we have the rights to search inside the message also. See here, now I do hyphen message and I say license star. See, earlier it was showing this acquisition and all. Now it is not showing these things which starting with acquisition. It's showing only the things which is starting with license. Is that what is happening on your system?
Yes, I tried different other thing, but yes, it's working like that. Same.
Is that what is so? Which means what is the meaning? Is that, you know, what is the literal meaning? Is like whatever you type with a hyphen has to be available on the syntax. Okay, the meaning is like, the key point is like, anything that you type with hyphen in your command has to be available in the syntax. That's important. Is that the true statement? Do you agree with me? Do you agree with
Also,
me?
that's what I learned. Whatever the on the header is available as like a parameter, right?
That's what I'm saying, no? Whatever you type with a hyphen has to be available inside the parameter. That's what I'm saying. So now there is something called as time. Do you see something called as time? Do you think time is available over there?
Yeah.
Do you think time is time is not available? Time is not available. I don't see time. I don't see time over here.
Yeah, it's not there. Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's available as after before.
Sorry. Yeah, that is different. But exact name, is that available or not, is the question.
Yes,
Okay, I
it's
say
not there.
application and I say hyphen time. I say like 0700. What is the error message it is giving? Now you know what, till now we never ever read this red color font. Is that right? We are all scared of this red color font, right? Now in this training, I will make you to read the red color font. Okay. Now what is it saying? A parameter. Now we know that what is a parameter? What is a parameter? Anything and everything with a hyphen is called as a parameter. Correct?
Yeah.
It says like a parameter cannot be found that matches the parameter name called as time. What is it saying is that, hey, I went into this place. I don't find anything called as time. What you're saying, that is what it is trying to communicate to you. Now, do you understand what is it trying to tell you through a red color font? Are you able to understand and the language that machine is trying to communicate to you? Everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is what is important. As I told you that we should know how to talk to the machine. When machine is talking back, you should understand that. Now see what is the good thing over here. It is exactly underlining and telling like this is where the problem is. Please check at this particular place. That is what is happening. Right? Are you getting a comfort level now? I will ask you one question. Say like get hyphen service. I tell get hyphen service. My question to you is like find all the display name which starts with application. Okay. See the question 3 is that find all the service with display name starting with application. Is that doable? Check it out. I will guide you. See here, I'll guide you. On which header we are working? On which command we are working first of all? On which
Display name.
command
Get service.
we are working on get hyphen service? Okay, very good. On which header we are working?
Display name.
Display name.
Display name. Now, which means like you need to tell PowerShell to first open the command called as get hyphen service and then go to a place called as display name. Now, did you check is there something called as hyphen display name available inside the syntax? Can you confirm and tell me if that available?
Yes.
Everyone, please check it out. Type in get hyphen help, get hyphen service, and confirm if that is really available. Is that available?
Is available.
Is there display?
Is that available? So fine. We can tell PowerShell to go there directly by saying get hyphen service hyphen display name. What is
And
my
then the
question?
wildcard.
Exactly. So I'm saying application and then star. Is that the right expected result? Everyone getting the result like this?
I got few more, but yeah, more or less same.
That's cool. See now, are you able to understand how? Yeah.
There is no distinct something, right? If I want to some distinct about that name or display.
What do you mean by distinct?
Find out some unique.
Unique?
That is generally used in SQL queries. Distinct.
Yeah.
Unique is there. Unique also is there, but it's available on a different command wherein you have to take this and give it to some other command, then it will work. Yes, it is there. It is possible.
Okay.
Okay. So everyone understanding like how we are asking PowerShell to go to a place and do something. Now you are giving a command and the command is reaching the machine and the machine is also responding to that. Okay. Is that everyone got a result? Anyone getting any error message?
Yeah.
Can you do that, please? Is that doable?
Yes.
Which two things you need to ask the question to yourself? Which command we are dealing with?
Get service.
Get service.
And which header we are dealing with?
Dash name.
But did you confirm that is there something called as hyphen name available on the syntax? Did you confirm that is there hyphen? Yeah, very good. Go ahead and do it.
What was it? With letter D, no? Done.
Starting with the letter D.
Done.
Done, yeah.
Okay. So can I get all the status which is running?
Yeah.
Q5 is like find all the services which are having the status
running.
Okay, state.
Anyone getting any error?
It's a parameter status not available.
The parameter is not available basically.
Yeah, status is not there.
Exactly. Yeah, correct. Now, first of all, before you type in this one, we need to check whether get-help is get-service is having that parameter or not. If it is not there, then definitely it will not work. Okay. So I'm going to stop with a suspense saying like, how can you search any header which does not have the parameter? That is the next task which we'll be seeing tomorrow. Okay. So I'm going to stop it right here. I want everyone to type in get-history and hit enter. Type in get-history on your system, on your PowerShell, and tell me how many commands you typed in today.
41.
48.
Good.
39.
Other?
It's like history command in Unix.
Same here also. Even if you can type in the history also here. Type in history also will work. Okay.
Okay, can we filter with get history? I think we can filter, yeah. So we filter with 10 or let us 10.
When you say filter, it's the same grep command in Unix. It's here, it's a different command. Okay, that I will tell you tomorrow. Don't worry. Okay. So guys, see here, we started exactly at 8:28. It is not even 10 o'clock. In 1.5 hours, you are able to learn. You have written approximately some 50 commands. Okay, this is just a start. Okay, in just a short term of 1.5 hours, if you can learn this, imagine that in 30 hours, how much things are lined up for you to improve your knowledge. Okay, so what is my humble request is like, please go ahead and contact your respective vendor and please enroll it, so that tomorrow we are going to have class only for the people who have enrolled it. Okay, it will be a different meeting link, it will be a different things tomorrow. So from tomorrow, yes, whatever the challenges we are having, everything will be solved and we will be moving forward. So just trust me, and this is how the class is going to be highly interactive, highly I'm going to put you into thinking mode always. I will ask questions, I will ask back-to-back questions, and I will make you to think. I will make you to write scripts also individually. Okay. So with this note, I'm going to close it right here. So please contact your respective.
Also, I believe there is no limit of, like, as you said, like it's a 30-hour class total. So it can be expanded also, right? I mean, it
can be expanded. Yes, it will be. You know what? Sometimes if there is a requirement that if people are If people require more assistance from me, I will extend it. Yes, sometimes like some classes has gone for more than 34 hours also it has gone, but that I don't even care about the timing. Okay, that's for a number. People ask me like how many hours, so I will tell us 30 hours. That's just a number. Okay, so it's
Yeah,
all
that's
about
okay.
like
Thank you.
I want to deliver the knowledge that I have to you. Unless until it is not reaching you, it will continue. That is how it is.
So one question from me. Yeah, like
Yeah.
you said vendor, right? So vendors are different. Are they going to, I mean, the fee will be the different from each vendor or the same? Because we don't
Okay,
know, right, who is contacted,
it will be the same. It
vendor.
will be the same because like different vendors are coming, right? So that is how it is. So it is almost the same. Okay, it will be the same.
Yeah,
You
it
don't
has
have
to
to.
be same, right? I mean, it should not
It
be
has
like
to be. It is the same, yes. Because like I have communicated to them to have a standard fees that will be for everyone. So I have just already communicated to them, so they are going to charge you the standard fees for the whole batch. All right.
If you get a
Okay,
get type
thank you.
history, you'll get today's executable commands only, right? If you want to get yesterday's, day before days commands.
Okay, you know what? History is limited for the current session, not only today. The moment you close your window, it's gone.
Okay.
So it is like that. History is history does not save anywhere. So the moment you close it, it is gone. That is how it is. History is volatile.
But I
But
think
again, whenever we'll open the PowerShell again, if you type any arrow commands, again we'll get the last executable command, right?
No,
To
you will
close and
not get
open.
it. You will not get it. In Unix, it's a lifetime storage.
Yeah.
But in here, it's not a lifetime storage. It's like a temporary storage.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Six. Just I'm dropping the call.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Dinesh. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, Sheikh.
Check
Yeah,
out
someone was asking
check
about
out
something.
start transcript. That helps.
Sorry, check out what start run.
Start transcript.
Okay, start transcript. Yes, that will just store everything onto a file so that you don't have to do it separately. It will automatically store it onto a file. Yes, you're right. All right. So guys, so thank you very much for joining. So Sohail, yes, we'll be doing AD also through PowerShell. Yes, we'll be doing it.
I wanted to understand the classes will be only on weekends.
So this batch is only for the weekend, and there is a plan for the weekday batch also. If you're really interested for the weekday batch, it is going to happen on Monday morning at 8 o'clock, Monday to Friday morning 8 o'clock to 9.
So Sheikh, one question.
The weekend batches will start at 8 p.m. like how it was today.
Okay, so most probably it will be 8 p.m. or if you want to advance it, we can have 7 p.m. also. We can definitely talk about this. Once you enroll it, yes, you will be a part of a group and I'll be communicating that to you.
Well, thank you everybody. I'm just dropping off now.
Yeah, sure.
Sheikh, one question. So so the timing will be the same time, right? Because since I'm in US, I think it's good, right time for me. If you change the time, it will be like midnight for me. If you
Okay, so in case even if I change, it will be only a difference of half an hour or either 7:30 p.m.
half an hour is fine. Half an hour or 1 hour is fine.
Hardly half an hour or 1 hour, not more than that.
Okay, that's fine. And that
anyways,
weekends I want to actually.
Yeah, we are not going to move to 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. which will be a midnight for you. I totally understand. No, not like that. Hardly half an hour or 1 hour advanced. That's it.
Okay, fine. Yeah, that's
But if it is clashing the dinner time, we don't want to spoil that. So probably if we start at 7, we can close at 9:30 so that we can go back to dinner. That's the idea all about.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, totally understand.
Sheikh, if
Thank you. Thank you, Sheikh.
Thank you, Vishwanath.
Sheikh, one question. If it is a weekday session, per day 1 hour or else it is 2 hours class?
Per day 1.5 hours for 20 days.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Sheikh, thank you very much for the demo.
Most welcome, Hari.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sheikh. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Sheikh.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Bye. Take care. Bye.
Thanks.